Got a problem, okay? First off, though, I want to say props to you because you didn't click on some Mr. Beast crazy hyper-edited CGI thumbnail. You're looking for value content, all right? And you're on the right path, okay? You didn't find this video found you, and it got put on your recommended feed, most likely because you need to watch it, all right? So basically, in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about dopamine, how to regulate dopamine, how to get rich using dopamine regulation, and how I personally balanced my dopamine, sorted my dopamine baseline, basically aligned my habits and my actions and my consistent day-to-days with dopamine regulation, keeping my dopamine baseline the highest possible, basically to get rich as heck. So first off, I want to tell you guys, don't have some $997 course, don't have a $90 a month community for you guys to join. So I hate course sellers and all these Miami dudes as much as you do. That's why this channel is literally like a free course itself. I just get on this channel, give you guys whiteboard advice, and hopefully you enjoy it and find value. So today I want to talk, oh, that is a B, not a D. Oh my God, negative aura. So first thing I want to talk about is dopamine, okay? So dopamine is pretty much responsible for your happiness, your sadness, and all of your emotions. So let me fix the E here. Essentially what dopamine is, it is known as the happy chemical in your brain, basically. So all of your emotions come from dopamine. So dopamine, serotonin, cortisol. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone, and this could be such a technical mindset, like brain chemistry video. Cortisol is known as the stress hormone, serotonin is known as the happiness chemical, and dopamine is basically the regulator for it all. So the reason why you guys can't focus is, I'm gonna put this into perspective, is because of your dopamine baseline is so low and it's not consistent. So the problem is that your dopamine baseline looks like this, okay? Let me make this a little bit longer. So most of your guys' dopamine baselines look like this. So the blue is gonna be the rich guy, okay? And the red, I'm sorry, but it's gonna be the broke guy. So red is gonna be broke habits, blue is gonna be rich guy habits. So the red, unfortunately the broke guys, they wake up in the morning, they check their phone, they spike their dopamine. First thing, that just completely ruins your mood for the rest of the day because your brain is getting accustomed to such a crazy artificial dopamine spike that if it doesn't reach this point for the rest of the day, it's not going to feel fulfilled and it will not suffice. Next thing, you go maybe to school, you talk to your friends, you go to work maybe, whatever, then you eat some crazy food, then you go back to work, whatever, you come home, you watch the hub, you play video games, and then it spikes down before you go to sleep. So most of your guys' dopamine baselines or dopamine graphs go up and down like a roller coaster. There's no baseline here other than down here because that is what your baseline is. And the truth about when you spike your dopamine is it is going to go down as much as it goes up. In fact, it will go lower if you spike it artificially through like artificial foods, seed oils, sugars, you know, short form content, whatever it may be, opposed to, this is gonna be the blue marker guy, Mr. Rich Guy, okay? AKA, sorry to do it, but me. So I wake up, my dopamine baseline is already higher than usual because I did all this stuff the day before. And you know what, I'm waking up, maybe I do a cold shower. I'm gonna feel, my cortisol is gonna spike, my dopamine's gonna be low, but you know what's gonna happen after? I'm willing to take this dopamine hit so I can get my dopamine baseline higher. Then I'm going to meditate, ups my dopamine. Then I'm going to read and I'm gonna work and it makes me feel fantastic. Then maybe, you know what, I might hit the gym and it might dip, my cortisol might spike because I'm putting my body through physical stress. But you know what happens when after the gym, you feel fucking fantastic. So my dopamine baseline is somewhere around here. But it's a lot more consistent if you guys see where I'm going with this. So the reason why, because dopamine basically invokes emotions. Now, the thing is that our brains have not evolved the same way that technology has evolved. So there's a discrepancy in technological evolution and human evolution, which is why most humans are pretty much completely cooked. So if you kind of think about it like this, right? In the last 100,000 years, humans have evolved. We've evolved a lot. But if you think about when the iPhone came out, I believe it was 2007, at the end of the day, this has gone, like at the rate this is evolving and advancing, it is way, way, way more than humans. We are going to have iPhones built into our brain way faster in 1/10 of the time that we had to go through from monkeys to actual humans that can converse and have Bluetooth and stuff like that, if that makes sense. So the rate that the technology is improving, and of course it's stimuli, so it's stimuli, it's to keep you guys stimulated. These companies pump billions and billions and billions of dollars into basically keeping you addicted. It is dopamine addiction, and it is very much so real. So these companies are putting millions of dollars to keeping you addicted, and you can't really fight it. So the only way to realistically win is by not give into it. What happens when you overload on dopamine is it's going to kill your motivation. So essentially what you need to do is and this is not gonna be cool, but you need to make your life practically as boring as possible, okay? So think about this, let me draw this out. Which guy would you rather be? Would you rather be this guy or this guy? So Mr. Guy here, he's happy. Mr. Guy here, he's kind of neutral. But first guy, we'll just write a guy A and a guy B. So let me erase the top so I got more room to write. So guy A, he regulates dopamine, his life is boring, but in turn, he enjoys every single aspect. He enjoys. So he makes his life super boring. He meditates, he doesn't go and scroll on social media, he doesn't compare himself to other people. You know, he doesn't think that just because somebody else winning, that means that he's losing, which is a big mistake. He also understands that his dopamine he catches himself in slip-ups. I was scrolling a little bit earlier today before recording this video, and I caught it. I was like, oh, let me go watch like a long-form YouTube video, maybe watch a podcast. So his life is boring. But do you guys understand the term ignorance is bliss? He thoroughly enjoys every single moment of his life, if that makes sense. So guy B here, he's more of a short-term kind of guy. So he goes after short-term dopamine spikes. Not only that, but he scrolls, he eats junk food. Let's just write junk. He scrolls, he goes after short-term dopamine, he goes after junk food. He understands that everything that he's doing is bad for him, but he doesn't understand how detrimental it really is to his mental health. So obviously, guys, if you've been on this channel, you understand how big of a proprietor I am of mental health, mindset, and keeping your psychology on lock. I think a lot of money, like making money and getting rich, is primarily associated to understanding human psychology. So that kind of plays into making your life as boring as possible, so even the work becomes enjoyable. You're essentially brainwashing yourself, right? So the thing is that you have good habits and you have bad habits. Obviously, some are ROI habits or activities and some aren't. The thing about habits, especially to quit old habits, is you cannot quit. There's no such thing as quitting an old habit. Because the truth is let me put this in a timeline. Let's say this is 1 p.m. and this is 11 p.m., okay? If you spend, maybe 3 hours here playing video games, if you spend 3 hours here playing video games, the truth is it's bad for you, it's spiking your dopamine, but you can't quit it. Because there's no such thing as completely quitting a habit. The only thing you can do is substitute, okay? You cannot quit a habit, you can only substitute a habit. So that's the truth of it. You can't, if you want to stop scrolling, you scroll, let's say you have like 20 minutes a day, you scroll in the morning. You can't just wake up, like if you wake up and you have this 3 hours, let's say you're playing video games, 20 minutes that you scroll in the morning as soon as you wake up. What are you gonna sit in bed and do nothing and wait for the 20 minutes to be over? Your phone's gonna be next to you. It's gonna be way easier to just hop on the phone and scroll. So essentially what you have to do is you have to substitute it. So if you're playing video games for 3 hours a day, you can't just be left with 3 hours of empty time. You have to occupy it. So you basically have to cut this 3 hours up. Obviously it's down to you, but you could do 20 minutes reading. So 20 minutes reading. You could do 30 minutes running, or an hour at the gym, 20 minutes reading, an hour and a half doing something else. Just anything that's better and garners a higher ROI than playing video games, which, if we're being honest, doesn't garner any ROI. The next thing I want to talk about is doing things with intention. So this kind of plays into what I was talking about with like the ROI habits, but most people don't do things with intention. They don't have a clear output of their inputs, if that makes sense. I'm making this video with the intention of people enjoying it, subscribing to this channel, this video going viral, and obviously in turn helping a couple people. So you need to do everything with intention, right? When you purchase protein powder, I talked about this in a couple videos, but this is such a perfect analogy, and I'm not afraid to double down on it because of how fantastically on point it is. If you buy protein powder, you're paying $60, which is way overpriced, and you're basically paying extra for a tub of chocolate milk that tastes worse than $4 chocolate milk from the gas station. And the reason you're paying $60, arguably a $56 markup, is because of intention. It has value. You're purchasing with intention and you're consuming with intention, which is the protein. There's an ROI to consuming more expensive, worse tasting drink. Does that make sense? and that's intention. So you need to think of everything that, like, you need to break down everything you do with intention. Now, this is the same thing that it goes to tasks, okay? So when you want to, like, 90% of you guys are poor, that sounds such like a douchey thing to say. Not in the financial situation that you'd like to be. Sorry, is because of, resistance. So most of you guys are broke because of resistance. Now, resistance is that little devil on your shoulder telling you that, oh, what if we do this tomorrow? What if we don't have, like, it's gonna be hard, it's gonna be annoying, and it's gonna be like, it's not even worth it, it's only 20 minutes, the ROI is not there, you don't have to meditate, da, 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 da. But then you have this guy on the side, and he's the guy which most of you guys suppress, and he understands that, hey, we gotta do this because it's gonna make us feel fantastic after, and it's gonna carry into every other facet of our business or our life, right? So people go to the gym. Gym is the direct correlation to business. Why do you think the more jacked you are, the more money you make? I have never ever seen a direct correlation with the fatter somebody gets, the richer they get, ever. I've only seen the more in shape you get, the more money you end up making. So the thing about resistance, funnily enough, is you need to stop looking at tasks, okay? Tasks for what they are. So let me write this. You need to stop looking at tasks for what, sorry, that was an L, I messed up that. You need to stop looking at tasks for who you are and start looking at tasks for what they are, if that makes sense. So stop looking at tasks for who you are. I don't feel like doing it. Any I or me statements should be completely eliminated from your mind when viewing a task and you're faced with resistance. So you think, oh, I don't want to do it, I'm not going to enjoy it. Okay, well, shut the fuck up because there's an ROI here and you know you should do it, but you don't want to because you're a bitch. What? Stop looking at tasks for who you are, start looking at them for what they are. Oh, I don't want to work 5 hours in a day, I don't want to sit down on my computer and write out this Google Doc, I don't want to hop on a call and do all this extra stuff. Even though I don't care if it's brain melting work, but you know you need to do it. And you're viewing it in the, I don't want to, I know, da, 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 but the ROI there is, oh, I can get more money. I'm gonna buy a Lamborghini. I'm gonna buy the car that I want, I'm gonna retire my parents. Does that make sense? You need to stop looking at tasks. For example, the sauna. I'm not gonna go into the sauna and think, oh, I know it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna feel, it's gonna be hot. I'm gonna have nothing to do. I can't use my phone because I'm gonna be all sweaty. I can complain, but at the end of the day, I'm looking at the task for what it is, not who I am. I'm gonna go in there, all I gotta do is just sit the fuck down for 20, 30 minutes, then I'm gonna get out, I'm gonna shower, take a cold shower, maybe get in the cold plunge, I'm gonna feel fucking fantastic for the next 3 days. That's a no fucking brainer because I'm looking at the task for what it is and not who I am. Does that make sense? So most of you guys are basically, you are where you are because you are who you are, if that makes sense. So you guys have a lot of habits. Now, the separation between conscious and subconscious habits, there is a large discrepancy. So you have conscious habits, conscious, and you have subconscious habits. That makes sense. So there is a large discrepancy between conscious habits and subconscious habits. So I'm going to cover them right now. So the difference between a conscious habit and a subconscious habit, a conscious habit would be, this is you thinking, do I go to the gym right now? Do I go to the gym right now? What am I gonna hit in the gym? What am I gonna do? What time am I gonna go? What gym should I go to, if that makes sense? And a subconscious habit would be, kicking your shoes off as soon as you get in the house, right? So there's your shoe flying through the air. So a subconscious habit would be kicking your shoes off as soon as you walk in the house. Maybe waking up and checking your phone, or instantly taking a hot shower. Or maybe in your vocabulary, you say or like a lot, and that's a subconscious habit. With a conscious habit, I consciously sat down to record this video and I have things in my brain, and obviously as I'm recording, I'm being able to distill more information in regards to the title and the topics of habits and dopamine. So the thing is the way you get rich, especially obviously regulate your dopamine, is by mastering these subconscious habits. Mastering. So you need to master these subconscious habits. And more importantly, you need to be conscious of these subconscious habits. So I want you guys to really sit down. Maybe you're I don't know what day or what time of the day you're watching this video, but break down yesterday. Yesterday could have been a good day, could have been a bad day. Analyze what you did. Every single small action from the moment you opened your eyes From the minute and the second, the millisecond you close your eyes to sleep, what did you do? What were your conscious habits? What were your subconscious habits? And which ones should you keep and which ones should you take away? I can list all of them for my personal self right now. I'll just give you guys a run through I guess, today. So, conscious habits, I sat by the pool, I got sunlight, and I read. That's a conscious habit, there's ROI there. One thing, a subconscious habit, is while I was on the toilet, I pulled out my phone and I started scrolling on Instagram Reels. That's a subconscious habit. But I gotta kick that because obviously it's not regulating my dopamine as much. I don't scroll for 8 hours a day. It's probably like 5-10 minutes a day, but still not good. Even 1 minute is too much. So you have to break down your subconscious and your conscious habits and be like, yo, none of these are helping me. What am I doing? Now, the last topic of today's video is comfort. Now, the hard pill that I want all you guys to swallow is that humans seek comfort. Intrinsically, we are just cavemen. So we can only do so much as far as understanding. The only way to get around our caveman brains is to expand our knowledge on our caveman brains and obviously act with intent, right? So you are going to obviously seek for negatives in life. You're always going to seek comfort because you know, who really likes discomfort at the end of the day? You guys gotta understand that no business that you're working on is going to garner you more artificial dopamine or dopamine for that matter than playing video games or watching adult videos. Does that make sense? So at the end of the day, humans seek comfort. And the thing is we can't get around that. No one is perfect 24/7. I'm not perfect. None of the gurus that you watch on YouTube are perfect, especially when in regards to talking about business, habits, consistency, whatever. Nobody is 100% consistent. But the only thing that you can do is be consciously aware when you slip up, take accountability, and try to improve. You are going to seek comfort. I'm seeking comfort. I don't want to record this video. I don't know if this video is the greatest video I've ever recorded. It's probably not, but hopefully it's valuable. At the end of the day, you are going to seek comfort. Understand that. Things are going to be hard. Understand that. And all you can really do is understand the way that our brains work and try and consciously make better decisions in regards to your brain, if that makes sense. So for me personally, I can give you guys specific habits that I use to regulate my dopamine, because obviously that's the basic point of this video, is I meditate. So I meditate every single day, 20-30 minutes. I read a lot. I podcast. So essentially what I do is I watch podcasts. I literally sit down and watch two people having discourse, and that basically is my entertainment. Doesn't spike my dopamine too much. Another thing I do is I'm just gonna write ENT for entertainment with food. So basically a lot of you guys are just completely spiking your dopamine. That's why people go to eating as comfort, right? It's a trauma, it's a coping mechanism. So they go to food and that's their comfort coping mechanism. So that's gonna spike your dopamine like crazy anyways, just putting food in your mouth, but then matching that with Mr. Beast, holy cow, that's a triple cocktail. So no entertainment with food, no YouTube whatsoever. And there's a million things I can name of, no short form content, you guys get the gist. You need to make your life as boring and as valuable as possible. Don't do the bullshit. Make every single habit that you do have an ROI. Because if you stack those fucking bricks every single day, at the end of a month, at the end of 3 months, 6 months, a year, you are going to have the most beautiful fucking castle that you've ever dreamed of. That's the end of the video. I don't have a course. That's the end of the video. Check out my other videos. They're exactly like this, if not longer and better. Subscribe if you found it valuable, and if you want to apply to work one-on-one with me, there's going to be the first link in the description, or not, I don't care. Thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.